I'm David Garrigus. I'm a documentary filmmaker. I made a documentary about the invention of flight that involved a lot of wind and sand and eating sand. For my next big project, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to take a group of people riding on personal watercraft. I wanted to follow them as they rode across the entire state of Louisiana. We would start out in Shreveport in the northwest, head down the Red River, cross over the Mississippi, pass through Baton Rouge, and on to New Orleans. We would attempt to make the trip in only 3 days, ending with a walk down Bourbon Street on Halloween night. We want to be on Bourbon Street, New Orleans, on Halloween night. That's Sunday. It was 3 days from now, so we only have about 60 hours to do it in.
I really didn't know what to anticipate. I've actually never really ridden a personal watercraft on the river before. It's really hard to fathom what you're about to experience. Like, I race mountain bikes. You can ride a certain amount of hours per day and do all different kinds of things, but for a personal watercraft, you don't really know how to train for that. You just sort of have to just jump on it and go. You really can't have the luxury of riding around on a wet bike for a couple hours every day. It's just not possible. I am a park ranger for the city of Waco in Cameron Park, and I absolutely love my job. It's the greatest job in the whole world.
All right, kids, don't try this at home. This is just a little green grass snake. We have a lot of these in the park.
At times, you are enforcing, municipal code. Let's go. And so if there's a violation, then you have to take care of the problem.
Hey, you guys aren't going in the river back there, were you? Getting your discs and stuff out? Yeah, back there. Yeah, there's some weird virus thing that's going on. It's been coming down from the dairies. Where's the one that y'all were getting out of the river? Is he already left? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Can you guys get a hold of him? Because if he puts his fingers in his mouth after touching that disc, he's dead. He's dead. Okay? Hands above your head. Keeping any discs anywhere on your person, people? All right, let me see you.
First, we're going to meet up with my friend Michael.
Is that the guy who's going to ride?
He's going to ride with us.
David calls me and tells me about this incredible concept. It's going to be intense, it's going to be awesome, it's going to be a race, but we're going to do it as a team, not just as individuals.
12:31, hopefully we'll get there by noon.
In the real world, I handle marketing and sales for software companies. My job, I thought, was just to make sure things actually worked, and we got there, everything was ready to go.
Not only I got to find a place somewhere, we got to find a ramp, and he wants to camp out on the plantation, not just find a place to stay.
Could get us places, get us dinners, get us lunch, get us connections. Plus, I had my own boat, so I got picked to actually ride.
We're going to meet up with your friend Randy.
Yes,
You've known Randy all your life.
pretty much, yeah.
Of course, we'll be in Shreveport, so we have to go to a casino.
We're going to have to go gambling.
We're going to have to hit the casinos. Yeah, I think it's a state law. I think I read that somewhere.
All right.
The initial intention of the legislature when they passed legalized gambling back in 1991 was to create this atmosphere of the beautiful 19th century Mark Twain type riverboats cruising up and down the Red River and the Mississippi River. They passed a law that the only way you could do this legalized gambling on the river was to have these authentic boats. But what in reality happened was they found that having all these extra boats on the river was probably a navigational hazard. Now what you have is these beautiful boats permanently moored at the back of these hotels, but the people that come into this hotel, when they walk down that dark hallway, enter the casino and start playing slot machines, most of them just have no idea that they're out on the water and they are in this magnificent, authentic replica paddle wheel boat. What do your parents think about you going on this trip?
My mom's scared.
Your mom's scared. What does she say?
She thinks I'm gonna die, and my grandma thinks I'm gonna get my hand bit off by an alligator and I won't get married, and she'll never get to see me married.
Because your left hand will be cut off and your ring finger
With
will
my
be
luck,
gone.
that's the one I would lose, yeah. My mom used to show horses and breed them, and my dad was a farrier, a horseshoer, and we've always had lots of animals, and my older sister was a vet tech, and so I kind of fell right in line with the rest of the family and became a vet tech also. Of course, I was excited to see an alligator because I love the animals so much, and I wanted to try to catch one because I've always liked to get hands-on experience with the animals. I was a little nervous about losing a hand, but thought if I had the opportunity and I felt like I could do it, I would try to grab one. I love being with the animals. It just puts me in a better mood. I would rather spend time with them than people most of the time. I've rescued the potbelly pigs. I think every animal's cute. Any kind of animals, snakes and spiders and everything. And rescued some horses that needed help, that have been mistreated or weren't ever trained properly, and start over with them and get them going really well and then find them good homes and things like that. It's something that kind of came natural to me. I grew up on the horses, and once I started training them, I realized that I just kind of had a knack for it. I love to get on anything that goes fast. Being on the water, being on a horse, anything I can get to go fast, I'll ride it.
As long as we're in Shreveport, we wanted to put on some kind of a gambling-related competition. So Samstown Casino kindly arranged for us to try out their Whirlwind of Winnings machine. What you do is you step in the box, and you try to catch as much money as you can. Let's do it.
They flip on the compressor and it just whoosh, money just starts flying everywhere, and
All the stuff was hitting you in the face and hitting you on the arms and everything, so it felt really odd, and the wind blowing on you.
when you stick it in the slot, it kind of tends to blow back out at you.
You know, you've seen it on TV, but it's different when you're there and you're the one trying to grab all the money.
I got a plan just to stick my arms out and hold them still and let the cash build up on it and then push it into the slot.
The winner is Trendy.
I just focused in on it and got the cash. I need some breakfast. Can I get a sausage biscuit? Try to get some free breakfast. I'm always hungry. I love to eat. Do I get one?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I don't have no extra.
I thought if I was cute enough, she'd give in, and she just wouldn't. Nothing?
Not really nothing. Everything is for this little party.
All right. Thank you.
The first launch, I was really excited. It seemed kind of epic. Like there was a big sign there, I think, that stated this is the Red River, and it had the whole history of it.
The Red River of the 18th century was one enormous log jam. They called it the Great Raft because it looked like there was more wood than there was water. And then in 1824, Captain Henry Miller Shreve came along with his giant iron-plated jaw mounted on the front of his steamboat and cut through the mess. And for that, they named the city of Shreveport after Captain Shreve. Since then, the Army Corps of Engineers has come in and further improved the river by constructing several locks and dams. These enormous locks will enable us to ride past the dams on our way from one end of Louisiana to the other.
Game on, bring it.
The weather's clearing up. It seems like everything's coming together for us. And then it's just a reality that somehow we've got to go full speed just to make up schedule, because we're actually already running a couple hours late by the time we get going, just to get back on track. We're already behind from minute one.
I was extremely nervous because after all these months of planning, we're finally getting on the water. We all had headphones and we were going to be able to talk as we're riding down the river.
Just like a warm chocolate dessert at John Fish's restaurant in New Orleans. Do you want with the pogo stick?
After about 30 seconds, nobody was using those things anymore because we couldn't hear each other.
That was stressing me out a little, and then finally when I just went, forget this, it's not working, and I took that off, and I felt like I finally got to kind of settle in and just head on down the river and not worry about all the other stuff we've been dealing with.
But we finally got out on the water and we were going, and we took off.
I'd only ridden it once before this trip, and so when I got going and I realized how fast it was really cool to see, and the water whipping by so fast, and my eyes would water from the wind.
To get past the 5 dams on the Red River, we had to go through these locks. They were designed to accommodate big commercial river barges. You enter the locks through these giant double doors.
They were huge, and it was really interesting to be in there.
The doors shut and the water slowly drops below you.
It drops and drops and drops until you're level with the outgoing water portion.
You couldn't feel yourself rising or sinking, but suddenly you'd look around and the walls would be way off from where you were a couple minutes ago.
Then the double doors on the other side of the lock open up and we continue on our way. The boats would arrive at the takeout point and we'd have to sit around and wait. We'd never anticipated that the chase vehicles were going to take much longer to get to the rendezvous point than the boats. I just hadn't thought about that traveling on these windy rivers, that we'd actually be able to move faster than the cars on the road.
You know, we were stressed out that we may not get to our goal on time if we got behind, but it was just kind of one of those things, there was nothing you could do. We were all doing our part, we were all trying, things just weren't falling into place. When we were waiting, I sucked up some plants into my bike, apparently, and I couldn't get it started. I didn't realize it was sucked up to the bottom of it, and I had to pull all that off.
These plants are called water hyacinth. They're not native to North America. Someone brought one single plant to the World Industrial Expo of 1884 and dropped it in the water. That one plant has since populated all the southern states and has become a severe environmental problem and a menace to navigation.
I was depressed, having to get drugged back. I felt like I'd lost. Felt defeated. We really needed to be heading on down the river, but we didn't have any choice in the matter.
Randy and Kim just never knew what to expect out of them. At any given moment, they were going to do something wild. So we just constantly had to have the cameras going at all times and just hope you caught it.
Our parents were friends before we were even born, and so we were just kind of born with each other. We got stuck with each other just like sisters.
We were almost forced into this friendship because I had to play with her, and you know, there's not very many kids, so kind of got stuck with her. But I love her to death. She's my best friend.
We're not near as crazy when we're apart. We kind of feed off of each other. I think she's a little crazier than I am, but when I get around her, you know, peer pressure and I get influenced, and I think I make her do stupid things that she wouldn't normally do.
We planned on being in Natchitoches by lunchtime, but it was nearly 3 o'clock before we rolled into town.
It was a really pretty, small, historic town.
It was cute. It's kind of like going back in time. You know, they had the old wood frame houses with the big porches, and a lot of times, like when you drive through, you see old houses, and you're like, man, that would look so awesome if someone would take care of it. Well, this whole town was taken care of.
And the people were really friendly, a nice small town like you'd want to live in.
Michael had found us the perfect place to eat, overlooking the Cane River.
We sat out on the balcony looking over the river, and it was absolutely beautiful and peaceful.
But all I could think about was this enormous logistical nightmare facing us.
First of all, this schedule was much too aggressive. The thing that became imminently clear was from early in the morning till late at night, we had to make up the time. We were going to have to really ride hard. This was going to be intense.
We had just a few hours of daylight left. We needed to get back in the water as soon as possible and see how far we could go.
So Randy and I were in the back, and we're like, hey, let's pop out the sunroof. You know, that'd be fun. Hey, you know, hanging out the top. And the next thing we know,
We were trying to distract the car behind us. Of course, I didn't do it because I'm shy, but you know, Kim, as soon as we turned around and sat back down, we sat there for just a second, then turned around and the car behind us was gone.
All of a sudden the car lurched, made this horrible noise. We go skidding off the side of the road. That's pretty severe. And I get out, go back and look, and there's half the trailer axle laying about 50 yards back. It just ripped everything out from the trailer.
We realized it's Friday night, holiday weekend. I mean, it's devastation at that point.
It looked horrible, and we were still struggling to stay on schedule at that point, and we just kind of felt like we were just starting to get caught up. And so it was like another kick in the butt. You know, the trailer's broken, we're never gonna make it in time.
well, that was fun. I guess we're going home because with the broken axle, you can't haul the bikes, which means you can't ride to the next destination.
What does the bear do in the woods?
Had to go pee in the woods because there was nowhere else to go, and we couldn't hold it any longer.
Can you see me?
No, you're good.
5 o'clock, the tow truck's on its way.
We just sat on the side of the road hoping for the best.
It just goes to show you can't trust land vehicles. I just don't know what the possibilities of getting this thing fixed over the weekend are.
We don't know that we can finish. It's going to be a long night. But, you know, I knew David wasn't going to give up. We're going to find some way.
Did you catch this one yourself?
No, my son Scotty caught that. He and a nuisance trapper in a private pond.
That's a decent size.
Well, they get a little bigger, but he was probably the dominant male in the pond.
People in Louisiana love to talk, and they're very proud of things they catch.
Weighed 380 when we weighed him the same day he was captured.
So there we are. We're stuck in Alexandria, which at one time was a bustling military town. They held the largest military maneuvers in the history of the United States, right there.
The machine gun parapets, the big concrete blocks that the machine guns were mounted on, are still over there in the woods.
You had George Patton, Omar Bradley, Eisenhower, all these great World War II generals stayed in the same hotel we stayed in. So I thought, here we are in this beautiful historic hotel, the Bentley, and with all this wonderful ornate architecture and decorations. So I said, why don't we take some pictures?
I'm like, a photo shoot? Like where? The hotel we were staying at, it had a lot of history in it. And why not? If we don't have bikes, and better than just sitting there staring at each other, so.
We had been wet and kind of feeling disgusting from the lake water for the last couple days, and so we had to try to put on our pretty faces and put on our makeup and fix our hair and get all dressed up, and so it felt really awkward being in these clothes. We're doing stupid poses and then trying to be serious and then laughing at each other and trying to push each other into the fountain and things like that.
I'm on the regular phone, I'm on the cell phone, I'm trying to figure out if there's some place we can rent trailers, buy trailers, rent extra cars. What are we gonna do? And he just keeps taking pictures. He's going to every freaking room in this hotel taking pictures. That's not our problem.
I had planned for a lot of contingencies, but never would I have suspected that a trailer would break an axle. And boy, did that put us out of business instantly, because all of a sudden we couldn't get the boats in and out of the water, so we were shut down. We had to get that trailer fixed. So the first thing that morning, boy, we were at that record yard and talking to that guy to get that thing going.
So what's going on?
What did he say?
He says he can fix the trailer.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, but it's going to take a little while.
Oh, that's going to put us
So,
way behind schedule.
yes.
Yeah, are we going to be able to make it on Halloween?
I don't know. With the time we lost yesterday and this today, it's doubtful. I don't think we can do it. Riding the river the entire way. So,
We got to get there on Halloween.
yeah.
We want to be there for it.
Yeah.
We need
yeah.
to get there.
Well, we can do it. We just would have to drive some of the way. We'll ride as much as we can, but we're going to have to drive some of the way if you want to be there by Halloween.
We want to be there.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right? Well, let's do that.
I don't know, I felt kind of jilted. I thought, I was thinking, I want to finish this, We started it, and we have a goal, and we have bikes and support and a river and everything we need. Why can't we do this? And it was sort of a letdown not to be able to finish, the initial goal.
So in the meantime, we're here. We can go ahead and launch some of the boats
Yeah.
and get on the water.
Let's go play.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's go ride.
I couldn't believe some of these moves these two girls were doing out on that boat.
Full speed, doing tricks. I mean, it was fabulous.
I've never attempted to do anything like that before. Just as we went, we were coming up with things. I'd turn around and say, okay, climb over here and turn around backwards and stand on your head. And of course, she was willing to do it all.
They were able to do all these amazing acrobatic things.
A couple times the lanyard, which was attached to my wrist, would pop off and the water bike would instantly stop. And that would slam us forward, hit the handlebars, and I would hit my face or my chest. It was a complete workout.
I took the girls aside. I said, look, make nice with these guys that are fixing this trailer. Whatever you have to do, use your feminine charms and do it.
So we got as cute as we could and we headed on down there and we're trying to be nice to the guys.
We lost nearly a whole day fixing the trailer, which meant that instead of riding, we had to drive the next leg of our trip down to where the Red River ends and plantation country begins.
Fried pigskin.
A disgusting piece of pig flesh, deep fried.
Doesn't get any better.
Pigskin, I think. What they don't cook, they make footballs out of.
When we crossed the ferry and hit the Mississippi, it was so peaceful and beautiful, and the water was perfectly smooth. It was like a different world.
All right, guys, this is a good old-fashioned Louisiana pig roast we're going to tonight, but we can't stay too late because we got that long ride tomorrow into New Orleans.
We were invited to a authentic Cajun party. It's called a boucherie by the Cajuns, and what that translates to is a festive hog killing where neighbors are invited.
There was huge bowls of jambalaya. You could eat all you wanted to, and we ate until we were about sick. There was a roasted pig that we got to just slice pieces right off of the pig, just sitting there cooking over the fire.
Not a really big pork fan, you know, the other white meat.
Everyone would gather around and get really excited about the new meat coming out of the plate, so it was really fun.
Don't be scared.
And it was something you could only experience going to somebody's home. Not doing it for us, they were doing it the way they would normally do it.
It was very authentic. I just wanted to listen to them speak.
Spices to give me a little bitty pieces and I look like I'm on a diet.
We were staying at a plantation that was actually now owned by a family that was nice enough to let us come and camp out on their place.
Kind of camping in somebody's backyard.
Oh, there's water in it.
It's all the tense smell of this mildewy, musty Mississippi River.
We didn't know how to set up the tents. We'd never used these tents before, and we were tired, exhausted from our trip. Tons of animals running around.
They had a lot of farm cats and they're real friendly.
I like being in a tent. I like camping out and things like that.
You know, this is transparent to
You can't see me, right?
the cameras. Wait,
See me?
no, I can't see you.
So like,
No,
it's okay if I do that?
still seeing nothing. Okay, I'm gonna leave this camera with you. It's got 20 minutes of tape left on it. Midnight Confessions, go.
There's something outside. We were used to being filmed. Now we could like have some control of what we were filming and just being silly. What girls do when they get together, they're ridiculously silly.
And so we started modeling and trying to get each other to do things that the other one doesn't want to do.
Yeah, baby.
Of course, I get the bright idea, flash the camera.
If there's an impulse, act on it and then think about it later.
Maybe give him a little surprise on here. A little bit of boob. Yeah. Ready? Do it. Do it. There's my nipple.
Probably not a good thing, but hey, it makes it interesting.
Here, you do it. Oh no.
That was the first time I've seen someone with toothpaste besides me.
We all woke up wet, cold, and mosquito bitten. It was great.
Everybody needs to be cautious, keep an eye out for debris in the water. It may be floating just under the surface and hard to see. This is a big, treacherous river.
Kind of looked like it was pissed off at us. It had like all kinds of debris and real turbulent.
The sun's in your eyes, you're trying to see things ahead of you, and we're just racing hard and hoping we don't hit anything that might just crash the bottom of this fiberglass boat.
The further you go down the Mississippi, the more you start noticing hundreds of chemical plants that line both sides of the river.
Those barges can't avoid you. I think it takes miles probably to stop.
You'd see these whirling tornadoes of water. Man, it was wild. It was really wild.
I ended up spraying Kim, I guess, at one point with water.
God, why did you do that? Now I'm like wet and cold.
Seeing all these pieces of log and debris whizzing by at 50 miles an hour, I'm thinking, gee, maybe this wasn't such a great idea.
It was the most miserable part of the whole trip, definitely. It was very cold. I felt very small out there, like I was just a little ant going down this huge trail with the huge barges, and the water was so wide.
At one point, we hit something. The cameraman behind me slammed into me, and I slammed into the handlebars. It was not fun. When we get to Baton Rouge, we need to find a big steamboat called the American Queen. It shouldn't be too hard to find. It's the biggest steamboat in the world.
We knew ahead of time the American Queen was going to be docked in Baton Rouge. 8 in the morning, and we just had to wake those people up.
It was really choppy. They were entertained. I wish they could have seen us the day before. We were kicking, but that day we were just like very, very mediocre.
We're about to get a tour of one of the largest antebellum plantation houses in the South.
When you see these homes, realize that for a little while, these were kingdoms. They were compounds, took care of everything themselves. Slaves were here, and when they sat and talked and rebonded with family, they would start to go. And that's faster than most spirituals. And you'd have one with a strong voice, and the rest would join in. I got a crown up into that kingdom, ain't no that good news. I got a crown up into that kingdom, ain't no that good news. I'm gonna lay down this world, gonna shoulder up my cross, gonna take it home to my Jesus, ain't no that good news, good news. I got a robe up into that kingdom, ain't no that good news. I got a robe up into that kingdom, ain't no that good news. I'm gonna lay down this world, gonna shoulder up my cross, gonna take it home to my Jesus, ain't no that good news, good news. Ain't no that good news. That's part of the mystery. All right.
All the restaurants we went to served really good food and as much of it as we could eat.
I'm gonna take the liberty of just sending y'all some of our great indigenous dishes. You gotta come here, you gotta try the gumbo. You gotta try some home-baked cornbread from scratch.
All right.
This is a lost art. People are not doing this from scratch cornbread anymore. This is your Cajun two-step, jambalaya surrounded by crawfish etouffee, shrimp creole, and crowned with a jumbo fried shrimp. A zydeco salad, soul in the bowl salad. The hot meets the cold. Enjoy that. This dish I call my soul in the bowl fouchon.
Everything soul meets the bowl. Something meeting something. All our food was just getting it on.
This is our filet of fish Nottoway with a Creole butter sauce. Hey, watch this dessert. Nottoway's famous homemade bread pudding.
Everybody wanted to serve us bread pudding, and it was good, but we had it over and over and over again.
Well, this is wonderful. Absolutely.
Look, I can move only my little toe. Our goal for our big finish was to ride into New Orleans the last day. We drove around for a long time and looked at 2 different ramps.
Okay, we got a lead.
Cool.
On a boat ramp. Launch on the Mississippi and ride right into New Orleans.
So how far away is this boat ramp?
I don't know what they say, Michael.
5 to 8 miles.
That's not bad.
Not too bad.
Sounds
Should
like a
be
plan.
easy. When you realize this is a river that is primarily for commercial travel, so it doesn't have a place to get in and out of the water wherever you want it.
It took us 2 hours to find this. Two-wheel drive is not going to get those boats in and out.
It's total mud. I mean, there is no ramp there of any kind. We must have spent a half an hour trying to figure out if there's some way we could use it, if there's something we could put down.
We're still trying to get to New Orleans. That's the thing. Are we going to give up on riding into New Orleans is the problem.
So we're just gonna drive into New Orleans now?
We were just too aggressive in trying to do too much in too little time.
This is the
We might as well turn this into something good.
Yeah, dude,
put it in a
there's
lake.
There's a sign back there. It's something about an airboat ride. I bet they take you through the swamp. Maybe there's alligators in there.
Do that.
Yeah, I want to go see an alligator. We realized at this point that we just weren't going to be able to accomplish our goal of riding in. So we ended up just going and looking for some alligators because it's something we hadn't accomplished yet.
It made some total sense. Hey, let's go find them. Let's just go someplace where we can actually see them and see what that experience is like.
You know, the whole time being concerned, is there an alligator near me? If I fall off, am I going to get eaten by one? Or wondering if we were going to get to see any.
Louisiana is home to more than 40% of America's coastal marshlands, but not for long. Over the last century, Louisiana lost 1.2 million acres of wetlands. That's about the size of Delaware. An average of 24 square miles are lost each year. That's about the size of a football field disappearing every 38 minutes. Hurricanes Katrina and Rita washed away 218 square miles of marshlands in just 2 days. The U.S. Geological Survey has predicted that New Orleans will be sitting out in the Gulf of Mexico before the end of the century. You should check it out at americaswetlandresources.com.
Indians living on here. You go in low tide, you find all kind of pottery and stuff along these shells right there. Got a little boy right there too. You want to stop on
He told us, I'm sure, some interesting facts that we couldn't understand.
My major in college was speech pathology, and I couldn't understand a word this gentleman said. He took the whole Louisiana Cajun dialect thing and he just like supersized it.
Alligator right there. Look. Come take it. Look, you see the alligator. Look. Come over here. Get ready. Hey, if you get back and blow back up on back, you got to be.
I had that brief moment of thinking, I can grab this alligator.
I swear I thought she was going to jump off and wrestle the damn alligator.
And then I realized if I did catch him, then I wouldn't know what to do with him, so I just let it be.
Here we are at the fabulous Monteleon Hotel, and we're at the end of our journey. We don't have costumes though, Halloween. Although I like the costumes you have.
Well, these aren't costumes, these are outfits.
I thought you were Laura Croft.
I am Laura Croft. I will be her. She may not be a real character. I'm gonna be her.
Do you know who I am?
Who are you? Tell us.
Who are you?
I'm Xena.
Xena the warrior.
princess?
Warrior princess.
You got the chest plates and everything?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's incredible.
I think he should dress up as a big elf.
A big elf.
A big elf.
I think he needs to wear
The
those.
ultimate elf.
That
Yeah.
bathing suit he wore the first day, he needs to wear that.
It was festive. I was trying to be festive.
I don't know.
The Surfer Dude
Scared the festivity right out of me.
All right, well, let's go.
Let's do it. All right.
All right.
We're running late, which is pretty much the protocol for this entire trip. All the costume shops are closed. So we went to this little souvenir shop and they have, you know, the typical Bourbon Street items.
Had a bad day, evidently.
This one's pretty. We went costume shopping, and of course, Kim and I picked the same mask.
That's one I have already.
We picked matching masks. I guess we just spent too much time together. So we were just trying to find something small and casual that we could put on to kind of feel like we were part of the whole fun of dressing up. You see in there?
Whatever, you name it, they've got it on a chain. You can put it around your neck.
Oh gosh, they're going crooked.
The freaky little necklaces with boobs on them.
But the white looks okay too.
Oh, go color. Do it.
Go color,
Take
go
a
for
rest.
it.
Take
Go
a
crazy.
chance. To get to Bourbon Street for Halloween. Short of Mardi Gras, the biggest time of the year to be there. And probably even crazier than Mardi Gras as far as the people.
Oh, yeah.
Is that your costume? What do you really look like?
My most favorite time during the whole trip was walking down Bourbon Street. People are just really free there. They don't really care. Anything goes. Anything goes, absolutely. Whatever you can think of, it'll be on Bourbon Street. It's very bohemian, very free, lots of drunkenness. It was really interesting.
It's Smurfette. Oh, it's Smurfette! Oh my gosh, Kim thought she was Smurfette her entire childhood. She's Smurfette!
She is the only.
Especially considering like
Smurfette.
there's only one Smurfette and
She
there's
was
a
a
whole bunch of
busy
Smurfs,
lady,
if
yes.
you know what I mean.
That's how I am at work. I'm like the only female park ranger. I kind of feel like I'm a Smurfette. You could say, hey Randy, you want to go, you know, insert crazy idea here, and she'll do it. I know that she has my back if something goes wrong. She's a great accomplice. The mime. Yeah, I thought, all right, bring it on. I can do that. It was Halloween, so you might see the bride and groom, and all the groom is wearing is a sock.
Here's the chance. Let's go.
Wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. Yeah!
Anyone will throw you those little cheap, 99-cent string of, red pearls. They dangle that prize in front of you, and you're like, just real fast.
Apparently, the girls went back to Bourbon Street after the rest of us went to bed. I wonder how they got all those beads.
We're all done, I guess, huh?
Been pretty fun.
It's not that we didn't achieve our goal. It's kind of like football, we just ran out of time.
I think, definitely more time. We could have done it. Stuff happens. It doesn't always go as planned. It's about the turmoil and things that go wrong and heartache and pain and the unknown. And so that almost makes it more interesting when you have, conflict. That's what the greatest and best stories of all time. It's not something that goes perfectly.
The airboat ride was cool. Got to see an alligator.
That's true.
We got to meet a lot of interesting people.
That's true, too.
Lots of good food. Lots of good food. We haven't had any raw sugarcane yet. You guys want to try some?
I think we should stop. I've never tasted raw sugar cane.
Me neither. I think I've got a bad one.
Yeah, that'll give you diarrhea.
Dang it, look at that. Look at all the ants on my shoe.
Time for your caning. You have a safe journey.
Bye.
Get over here. Kill the Caribbean.
I just don't like it that much.
She's not dressing up. Yep, it's Laura Croft. She
dressing as
is
I
Laura
am
Croft.
her.
Don't you see the difference?
There's a difference between dressing and being. There's no gray matter here.
No, there's no gray matter here at all.